this conversation with almost every coach. And there's 2 walls on Tombizz that I am really 100% not sure of.
This is it's a hard retake wall out that we're seeing on the B side. The A1 much more conventional. We see it all the time. What we don't see all the time is early elbow pushes coming out of the defenders. We've seen Sonya die immediately, and with that, the B side is being pushed.
Yeah, and Gia just making sure that no one is gonna push from behind. Still duels out there. They're actually gonna be able to take advantage of that Viper wall apparently after the plant. The plant is already here. I'm kind of concerned, you know, Riggs, actually, I think in the last encounter, I think Sam was mentioning that they didn't win either of them. The last one, they only managed to pull 2 rounds, thank God, the defense, so...
Yeah, it's definitely tough. It was a weakness we highlighted even before the vetoes came through. Oh, look at those kills coming out, though. My God, Ness is all alone. 50 HP on the backside and doesn't stand a chance. A quick retake out of Riggs.
I am extremely surprised because I have to say I'm surprised that the Viper wall worked perfectly. They knew that the Viper wall was there, but they decided to play post plan around it, and it obviously favored Riggs. That early push onto elbow, just having some ground control and losing the first of them. I have to say this is extremely good for Riggs. I may have to change my prediction. Nah, not yet. But it's a perfect start from them.
They're just losing all faith immediately. You know, obviously, Raina, it's so... can I just say how confusing it is to have a Viper called Raina or an Astra called Raina and so on? But the player, Raina, on Riggs was... it was so essential to keep her alive there. And that fight that she found outside, I thought, okay, this one's going down. And all of a sudden, it was a double kill. And a trade back by Ness in this round puts Padge out of it. And realistically, you know, getting 1-for-1 trades in a round like this, that's all you want. You'd be happy.
Oh... Noia is tagged. He's going to be pushed, but she does have the utility to keep them in place. This Viper wall is granting her a lot of stability, even though it's not a Viper. And Marshals on this map, so convenient for the second round. Still, the plant is not going to be there. They have to back, and they've lost all the control that they could have early gained onto A.
Yeah, this is all about just posturing for fights and getting Ness the angles that they wanted to find those kills from backside. Pay no heed to the UI right now. Looks like it's having a little bit of a panic attack because it's only Ness left alive. 1 versus 3 player coming up behind is Raina. And, you know, 1 more kill is really all that Ness wants. 3 kills in a round like this be pretty reasonable, but not going to be found.
I would love to see that Reba because they went on to hold just trying to get that Marshall fight. Padge managed to get the first one. And our HUD is obviously broken, so it's
no, I don't know what you mean. 1-0, 4v4.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely
doesn't matter. Yeah, EU production. What can we say? But we can actually see the replay. She loses the second fight, but I think it's still a lot of information. They know that they probably, especially being a low buy, they're gonna be all moving around A. I'm just surprised that they gained that control but decided to walk back. There's not many options that you have on low buy rounds.
Just a quick shout out for the people at home. Obviously, online production, these things happen, so a little bit of an issue with the HUD. They're working on fixing that up in the background, so for now we'll have to go on without it. But this is a little bit of a challenge for y'all at home, but we can make it into a fun little game, you know, keeping track of it. How's it going down? Already, they've lost a player over on the Oxygen side. They've lost one in middle, and this is just a full-on A hit, man.
It was so ballsy to just push onto mid, but that double push was enough for Gambit them. Oh my God. That is big.
The second, whoa, okay, the return is there instantly. Ness out for blood right now. These walls make it so difficult for the rifles to get the advantage that they want in a lot of these duels. Ness is going to be forced into close range combat, and that evidently does pretty well for Riggs, who've already walked away with all the kills. It closed out the round, and that is a surprise, to say the least.
I am very surprised because, you know, Riggs managed to get that early kill. They decided instead of following that push, just you know, regroup onto A and maximizing that firepower as much as they could. And also we found an Oxygen trying to play around their Viper utility, but the timings just favored Riggs almost in every chance. So, I mean, great from them. And as you were saying, playing around the Viper walls probably gives you more than enough sustain and to play around the close quarter guns. So, Really good for them. Another low buy that's gonna come from Oxxgen to take on some control over mid. The positioning from Riggs, it's so well adapted to what they did on the previous round.
I'm really looking at Oxxgen on that mid control, and the response there is you can feel it after the push out, as you were saying, right? That counter from what Riggs did in the previous round, but Riggs equally playing a different game. They're tucked in, looking to take the fights on their own terms, holding these off angles. I mean, this is really nasty to play against when you have pistols, because you're hoping your opponents make a mistake, and so far there's not really any opportunities for Oxxgen to find any capitalization.
No, and Sonia gathered also the info of what was going on until elbow.
Now there is. That right there,
yep.
That's what an opportunity looks like.
Yep. Still, is it going to be enough? Let's see if Ness has something to say about it, because look at the spike. It's only 35 seconds. They have to walk back, gain control. Okay.
Raina is unhinged walking out mid like that.
30 seconds left.
that was a bit crazy. And for Oxxgen, it does
You
represent
taught me
a
that
chance.
word, didn't you? Unhinged?
Unhinged, possibly.
Yeah.
I've taught you a lot
remember.
of words.
Yeah. I'm always learning. They did manage to find all the control onto A, and they're going to be able actually to plant that spike. I was going to mention that they were saving that Viper wall to maybe push through mid with it, but they didn't need it. Oh, more ultimates.
Yeah, the Seekers give that great information. Both players coming from spawn. This is exactly what you want. Padge even going to be... Oh! Made it out. Did that Seeker just shoulder peek Padge? What was that? I've never seen it jiggle peeked him. That's kind of crazy. Poor old Padge. She's just been destroyed by that. The Blade Storm's out, but doesn't matter. Proxima on the backside, taking a quick gold double. Pull it into a triple kill, and 3-1. Oxxgen find their first.
I want to see the replay, because I'm going to assume that there was a shoulder pick from Jet, and then the Seeker decided maybe not this route, maybe I'll take a longer one, but it's easier when even your ultimate is playing for you and just baiting a little bit of it. So that's going to be actually the first one from Oxxgen, and it's going to be thrifty. I mean, there was a lot of use onto that round, but I'd say it's a perfect outcome. They even managed to retrieve an operator, so first round for them still.
I have to pull it back to Raina walking out on mid. You're up against pistols. They're playing it slow. Pushing into them is possibly the worst choice you can make. Oh, this is dangerous. Blinded up in the corner. Raina's in a lot of trouble. Managing to get the jump on them, though. Teammates are finishing them off before she can even get a bullet in, but in the end, it's a man advantage for Riggs.
Yeah, and after what happened on the first round, they decided that A is going to be their playground. Oh, no.
Spike down A.
Well,
Why?
that's the pit gone and the spike in the open. Rita's doing her damnedest to pull this one back, though. 2 kills already on the board. Look at this spidey senses. She knows there could be someone coming up behind, tries to bait them out with the spike plant, but Jupi's a little bit too quick on catching that kill. Really good attempt by Rita, and I'm still scratching my head. It seems like Vipers are playing a different game than I'm used to.
Yeah, and it's surprising. It's actually the fact that it's Viper, the one taking the deals. But if you're gonna play around the orb, obviously it's better to just do it on your own than having to call someone, be like, okay, up, down, give me some smoke, give me some coverage. Another round for Riggs, but very, like, the awareness from Ritha was perfect on that round. She didn't manage to land the shot, but it was a nice try.
That it most definitely was. Padge in the early round, and look at that. Look at how scared you are of that drone as a Viper or as a Jet. You know it all too well. She goes out for the peek with the operator in hand. Here's the drone instantly running for the hills.
Utility usage of Riggs right now just favoring them. So you're gonna use the buy, but Ness is going to find the first kill. Still, they're too split up. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they find the kill, but they can't capitalize on it exactly. They're a little bit too split up because they're playing in a default right now, right? They're trying to catch a little bit of over-aggression, and in particular, it's Raina they're looking at. That Viper's pit down on A, and with enough contact on B, enough noise being made, sure, maybe Raina decides to push through it and try to come on a flank, and that's where you catch the kill in the free site. Instead, I mean, the flash says there's no one close, but it doesn't give them a lot of information. They might be in for a decent fight.
And the movement from Jupi and Sonia has been perfect. Now that the cable's been spotted, They do have the info, and Sonya was rotating, but she stopped, being like, okay, I'm not fully buying on this one.
Nasty little
Great.
rotates coming out of Jupi.
The movement is just so smart. Even in a map this big, where you have to make this decisions that could mean everything or nothing.
Yeah, it's just so much space to be claimed, and Jupi absolutely not feeling afraid to go and grab some.
Wow.
This is the round done. Gia, the last player alive, hasn't even got the spike and its damage that she's looking for, chipping away at the economy of Rix, but it barely makes a dent. 5-1. This is an incredible start for Rix, a team that, like you said, kaquka, they haven't been too hot on this map. On paper, this is one that favors Oxygen, and yet, here they are.
Yeah, they're doing a great job, and this is definitely a tactical pause from Oxygen being like, okay, they were supposed to be not that good on the defense. What is going on? Where are we pushing that should not do? How is it possible that Jupi has so much control over B, that she plays so well around her own utility on the timing, on as I was saying, such a big map? What are we going to do? I mean, probably this round is going to be a low buy from them, but still, they could... It's going to be hard to capitalize on it, and also, you know, deal with the fact that Rix is reading so well onto when to push, when not to push, where do we want our precious to be, or at... Happy with what I'm seeing.
These timeouts are so important for just refocusing yourself and assessing all the things you've just seen, but in all honesty, if I'm sitting down as Oxygen, having just won that thrifty round where Rix made a couple of mistakes to give it away, taking that one out of the equation, it feels like we've just had super clean Valorant played out by Rix. They're seizing space, Jupi especially, seizing the space exactly when she detects that it's open and there to be played with. And I really feel like when you're on the attack, slower defaults against the sort of play we've seen from Rix might be the way to go, because we've seen them get itchy when a minute goes off the clock, right? Someone wants to push out, someone wants to take space.
And also forcing a little bit of the utility. Just gonna miss the first one, She's here in the Marshall, so she's not gonna go further into that. It's cheeky. She's gonna expect Proxima here.
What patch is Proxima playing on? Because I can see a world, you know, a couple weeks back, you flash around the corner, you go for that peek all by your lonesome with the Guardian, but it's not quite that easy anymore. A little bit tougher to get that kind of reaction, the kind of timing down.
I like it because they're playing it slower, but they're not making Rix use their utility. They put a lot of pressure onto Jupi on the previous round, so she had to, you know, just use it out of just staying alive. Not doing it right now. Of course, it's not a full buy, but still taking a lot of ground. Gia already on nest.
Oh, nice attempt. This is all a bit of a distraction, though, just to allow the space for Proxima to push up behind. But Padge is there as well, providing the cover. Raina shuts down the Viper on the other side. And now you're sat down as Oxygen thinking, okay, we got pistols, you know. What can we really do?
We don't have to wall to walk across, 1 HP.
Good night and sweet dreams. Look, that's the round playing out pretty much as we expected to, with the exception of a couple opportunities there for a Marshall or for those side swipes out of Gia. Once those don't go your way, you're not winning those heads-up aim duels.
Yeah, definitely not. This is probably... this is the time to turn it around. If Oxygen can do it, it has to be this round. We need some plan out of it. They're not being lucky or not playing well around their own utility onto A. So I expect, by the looks of it, seeing a little bit of default onto this round. They need to find an opener. And this position by Peach, this is nasty.
Oh yeah, you don't take this every single day, and the shot isn't going to be connected. Look, map 1, Padge on fire. Unbelievable damage being done consistently. Now, feels like we're seeing a little bit of a fall off. A couple of those shots missed, and on a map like Breeze, it is so important to be firing up on those range duels.
Okay, reading into that, they knew that the drone was going to come through nest, and also expecting the rotation from Patch, and again, still they're being slow, but this time they are forcing the utility. The Viper wall is still not down. They still can decide on that. Wow.
Okay, well...
Okay.
We talked about Padge missing a couple of shots. That's not happening this time around. Kicking it off with a double opening. Oxxgen are now down by 2. Down by 3. That's a quick end to Ritha. The mid split now is the only point of aggression coming out of this side. And oh, that's so nasty, Raina, but she walks in at the last moment, giving Ness the jump. Noia, there's the weapon spotted.
30 seconds
She's
left.
ready for the player to peek on out and make a move. Gonna take the teammate first. And although Ness finds it, 3 more players. Like, there was no way she was getting away with it. 7-1. Again, a very strong early start, similar to what we saw in Ascent coming out of Rix.
Yeah, and I was talking about how I like when rounds are played around and planned around the utility and the ultimates that you have for your own team. This is going to be another low buy for Oxxgen, but look at how many ultimates they have. And also the fact that rainssa is not using that Viper wall until, you know, if she's not committing it onto A, she's tending to save it to probably do something from it, but we never get to see that moment. It just doesn't happen because we do not have the time, and the pressure from Rix is always on the perfect timing.
No, again,
We expected them to not know exactly what to do on this map, but I see them pretty comfortable.
But I think that's the thing that's surprising for us, that, you know, there's no VODs to watch. We're not in a position where we can look at the other games. You just look at the stats, for the most part, the majority of games that are played out. And with 2 rounds on the defense last time they played, Rix are looking a lot better this time around. Raina on the flank around the side is being spotted out. The pistol's up close, but not enough to deal with Raina. Absolutely destroying them. And with a clean round, just 1 player lost, Rix push up to 8 on the defense. And again, last time they played versus Project X, they started defensive side. They got 2 rounds in total. And now they're against Oxxgen, a team that are unreal. And we saw it in the first map. They were dominating. Now, though, looks like the shoe's on the other foot.
Yeah, and also on Ascent, they managed to just pull a little bit of a comeback. It wasn't enough, though. But it looks like Rix is just too comfortable playing exactly what they expected to be doing. They're not feeling the pressure too much. They're playing on their own ground. If I want to rotate, I do not have to think. I don't have to overthink, because I know that I have control, even though it's such a big map. I know exactly the time and how much ground Oxxgen has taken.
That is an early Viper's Pit, much more shallow than what we normally see coming out.
Just to go in.
Here goes Raina. Well, that's all. Oh, what's happening?
Oh my God!
How is that? Just guys walked past each other 3 times. That is ludicrous. I almost want to pretend I didn't see that.
And now it's the time I would use the Seekers here to just take a little bit of more ground, just prevent the plant from happening.
Here.
You can never be sure.
Here we go. Noia's ready to take the fight, and the timing was so good. The second they looked away, around the corner she comes. Being tagged up, though. I mean, she's going to be sprayed down.
Is she?
How is she still alive? The flash out. She's ready to take a fight, and luckily, someone will eventually deal with her. But a Hunter's Fury now to force them out of position. It doesn't matter, because Jupi's coming around the side, deleting them as we go. Sonya on 30 HP doesn't last long, and a second round will finally be found for Team Oxxgen.
I need to see a replay of that last transfer.
Round.
Yeah. Because it was messy. Also seeing the Hunter's Fury used from inside the side, the spike barely planted, and you know, we mostly see teams like taking full control onto it because it's such a big site and there's so many spots where you could be pressured from. But it doesn't seem solid to me. Definitely not solid enough, and it's, you know, a reflex of what we're seeing on the score. So they're gonna go on to B this time. There's a Viper wall. And we see Jupi just backing out.
Dash in. So Ness got spotted on the crossover, but I don't really know what you have to work with there for Rix. I mean, Hunter's Fury popped and connected. Okay. Proxima's down very close to taking vainssa on the site.
Wow.
And another kill, a wall bang onto Ritha. I mean, look, this should be a terrible position. Rix played retake on B. They have a Viper's Pit to play with. That is pretty much a guaranteed, well, massive advantage, let's say, to Oxxgen. And instead, they found nothing.
They didn't manage to find the plan. They're not safe on site.
Rix are already retaking. They're just running in before the spike's even planted. They're back on the site. And now that Viper's Pit is the only remaining beacon for them. It's gone. Wow.
No, but I think it was perfect. The fact that you use that Hunter's Fury, you know exactly. I mean, not exactly. You managed to get one kill. You spot another one. Viper's Spear comes down, but they're not safe enough to plant because they do not have control over it. The first space was created, still was not enough, and for Riggs to break that timing and be like, yeah, you're not gonna plant. We know that eventually you're gonna try and fake it. You're gonna try and plant, but we're not gonna allow you to do that. We're just gonna start pressuring and making sure that if you stay on that, if you play around the Viper's Pit, it's gonna have to be inside because we're gonna take positions all over it. And it was just beautiful to see. Let's see what they can do on this last round because I'm extremely happy with this Riggs.
Yeah, potential to push to double digits and a half. You got to be pretty happy with that. Realistically, it's all going to be smiles on that defensive side. Another retake on B. This time, no ultimates to work with to try and bridge that gap. Remember, we saw the Hunter's Fury pop last time, a quick operator wall bang. Now they're going to try for some ranged fights. And again, the first shot, I think Padge is just a really nice person. She's just firing out warning shots to start. And then, like, after the first shot misses and they keep pushing, she's like, look, I got to kill you now. I don't know what you want me to do.
How about the change in position? Oh my god! Because there's scores! Oh my god!
There you go. Warning shot, and then they keep pushing. You know, you gotta deal with them eventually. Then what was that? Little collat coming out.
It's a flawless. I was telling you, but she might not be landing the first shot, but her movement from that, you know, her reaction is, I would say most of the times is correct. You know, how much space I want to give from there. Okay, what is going to be my next angle? We didn't manage to see that collateral, but I feel it. You know, I almost could feel it. And let's see what Oxxgen do now because they compulsory, I would say, need this pistol round. How are they going to structure their defense, knowing that Riggs has done their homework completely? They have a name mark for now on.
Yeah, there's a lot to do. You know, this timeout ahead of a pistol, I'm not a massive fan about thinking too much about pistols, putting too much time into them. I think for the most part, they serve as a glorified coin flip. But what I will say is that I don't blame Oxxgen for taking a little bit of time because this is a very important round. As you said, if they lose this, the game's pretty much over. Unless you're forced buying round 2 defensive side, yeah, maybe you can, but let's say in general, they're probably looking at 12-2, and then they'll have to get 10 rounds in a row if they lose this pistol. So, you know, as far as situations go, that's not exactly ideal.
Yeah, and knowing that you have to adapt and you don't actually know, because we were saying they cannot know because there's very little to know and to read from Riggs previously. How do you prepare for this? Because this was supposed to be an easy map for them. Yeah, nothing close to it. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to say the most they probably have is, like, I remember back when we were working in stage 1, stage 2, towards the start of it, and a lot of the games weren't being streamed. So you would kind of, like, after a day of open quals, you'd go to a team and be like, yo, you guys face these guys, you know, are they good? But that relied on you knowing someone.
Yeah.
And even then, you only get word of mouth, what that player remembers. It's nowhere near as valuable as having an actual VOD to watch.
Yeah. Riggs is going to decide to go onto A. Let's see how they play against, around this Viper wall. Let's see if they spot rainssa there. Yep, they did.
Yes, they most definitely did. rainssa is down immediately, and so is Padge. He stood in the wall for a little bit too long. Got down to 1 HP. Nice and easy.
Yeah, but did they prioritize the plant of the spike? Now they can play for post plant, and this is very good, especially since Jupi is only on 10 HP. Now Oxxgen is to the side. How are they going to face this? And Ritha just looking everywhere and being like, okay, what to expect here? A rotation from Noia onto mid. Could mean everything for Riggs.
No more cages, no more smokes. Time to take some fights.
Hello?
That defuse already halfway through as they go out to try and spam it. And the fights are being taken. They're being won out by Oxxgen for a moment. Just a moment. It was looking doable. It still is. Ness, 1v1. Sonya peeking out wide and dealt with as well. The time low, but not low enough. That is a third round for Oxxgen.
5 seconds away only. I think she didn't get the sound right. She know that it was halved. But still, only 5 seconds, and it would have been just enough for Riggs to just play this attack so easily. The execution was good, though, and the fact that Noia took that rotation onto mid and started pressuring through double doors, I think was very good coming from them and very smart played. Mistakes were made.
Yeah. Look, a lifeline extended in favor of Oxxgen. They've managed to capitalize on it, but they've got a little bit more to do. The good thing is we talked about force buying second round if they lost the pistol. Well, with them winning it, there's no way that Rick's force buy. Attack side Breeze? I mean, I'm sending you to a doctor if you decide to invest all your credits there. Thankfully, they do not. So this should be, again, a very convincing round out of Oxxgen. Although there's a lot of pistols inside halls. I mean, yeah, making the right call here, Rita. Just back off, create some space.
Yeah. I mean, it's not only that you spotted... Oh my god, another one!
Chalk dart.
It was Sonya last time, wasn't she?
Yep, it was Sonya, and now this time around, it goes to Rita. But she will be dropped right afterwards. So, 1 kill at least. For Ricks, in a round like this, as we said, they're investing basically nothing. They've got a couple of upgraded pistols. They managed to walk out with those 3 kills. And look, Gia's completely isolated in spawn. There's potential.
Yeah, a lot. But the movement from Oxxgen is so smart, being like, okay, just give up on A, play together, play to our strengths. Gia here. Oh,
you're dead now.
Oh no.
So they're going to get control over the site here. That's the big problem. Now, I'm taking a look at utility, and there's no smokes. There's no cages. There's nothing to work with in that front. And it's on such an open site like B. But yeah, Recon's not going to help, really. We're all proximate. There we go. Nice. Flash around. Jupi is dead right about now. There we go. All handled. Lose 2 players. I mean, it's considering it's an eco round, I think that's decent for Ricks.
Yeah, if only they managed to pull the plant as well. But I feel it was... I mean, it was very well thought and thought through. Sorry. The fact that they took that control... but still, as you were mentioning, it's an eco round. You do not have all the utility. You're gonna use it early on. Rita here with the... Oh, I love to see it. I was going to say the Sonya still had a shock dart, and you know we've seen what this girl can do with those abilities. Look now, because that bonus round is looking pretty cheap for Oxxgen. Gonna look for that close quarter. And Riggs, they know how important this round is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I completely agree with Oxygen's decision to make this a hard bonus.
Yes.
If it was 12-4, very different story.
Oops.
If it's 11-4, very different story. But they have a little bit of wiggle room here, and it makes sense to try and capitalize. They have stacked up the A site with 3 and a flank coming in from Ness early. This gives them a lot of potential to catch Ricks off guard. And Ricks currently splitting mid. I have literally no idea that this is a possibility. Ness shoots too early, but still gets away with one. They still don't know. Only now realizing the flank was in, but it's a 3v3.
And I think it... Oh...
That's unfortunate.
Oh... I don't want to say it, but it's just go on, and Jupi just, again, when we need someone to clutch, Jupi's gonna be there. That is 100% something that Riggs can say. Oh, why didn't you commit to that?
Yeah, look, I think for Ness, a little bit of panic kicked in, that's for sure. But you also got to give her the fact that she is 17-11 right now. Yes. The next player on her team has 6 kills. That's pretty damn impressive. And I know I said earlier, oh, it's a jet and you're opping. It's kind of cheating, like in that sense. Look, on the attack side of this map as well, I think you got to give her huge props for what she's been able to do.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, it's in this moment on Breeze that we see an Odin come out.
Wow.
They've got a wallbang.
I'm so surprised. Yeah. They're not going to find anything.
That's the nastiest thing I've ever seen. A wallbang lineup, and then they have the Tiger to go through. And if the Tiger spots anybody, just starts spraying like a madman. That is absolutely crazy.
Oh, Yinsu's loving that. Yinsu would have loved that. She's an Odin player. She's dirty as that.
Oh, I love a little bit of Odin cheek. Those setups, they make me happy.
She's very good with it. The wall comes down and the execute on to B is only a matter of time from Riggs. Oxxgen playing it full retake.
Wait, they're going out after the Viper wall's gone down. Okay, there we go. It's coming up, and it gives them the opportunity to take a duel. A big surprise for Gia, I'm sure, as it was for me. And then look at this lurk in mid. Sonya not able to get it, though. They check it just in time, and the kills start to go Oxygen's way. They are now geared up for a retake with a man advantage in their pocket.
Yeah, and they're not safe. They cannot be sure that any part of the map is clear for them. Oh, that drone. Yeah, but the timing still favors them. We'll see.
Yeah, the clock ticking away as Oxxgen look to move back on his side. Nate's having a bit of a rough spray on the backside. Ritha in the same boat. And things are really going over towards Rix at this point. Only one player remaining. 10 HP on Ness, and time is way too low. This round is already done, and I think both might be going down to that spike in the end. 12-4 is where we close things out. After that round, one more needed for Rix, and 8 consecutive rounds out of Oxxgen if they want to be taking this just to overtime.
Yeah, this looks like it might be the ticket for Rix onto finals. They've been performing so good on this map, and look at the economy for Oxxgen here. I mean, Ness can afford to drop one gun and just go with her ultimate. This is going to be a tough one, and they don't have the money to buy the Odin, and this would have been the round, so we could have seen that cheeky push and that shaky tiger with the Odin. Viper Wall is still not down, but they're taking early control. Yep.
There we go. There's the wall coming into play. The drone on its way. It didn't really catch sight of many players. I think maybe just the Sova on backside. So this is all, at least the hand is concealed over on the Oxxgen side. Player spotted backside as well. A little bit more information to play around.
Oh my god, a lot of utility falling down. Almost every single agent. Oh, that's big.
That's absolutely massive. With Ness picking up one, dropping the spike as well, they can start to rotate
and
a bit
looking
heavier.
at mid, that's perfect.
The fact that the turnaround is there, you see, they dropped the spike, but they can't push because of the Viper wall. So they need to do something in return. And I like the fact that it's that full rotate around mid. In fact, it looks like Ness might be about to drop the spike a second time.
Maybe. Oh, I didn't gather the info, but they certainly know that there might be somewhere there. And all the pressure just from Ness. She has to be the game changer again. Oop.
It was Jupi that she took down already. So it's going to be the trap wire completely deactivated, allowing Ness to just run on forward, taking kills absolutely everywhere. And a beautiful round played out by Oxxgen. If there's one way to start an 8 consecutive round comeback, that's definitely how I want it to go down.
Yeah, obviously 22 kills for her, and I was telling you, she got the first one, and she was like, "Oh, I know what has been happening towards double doors and mid." So she turned around and she was like, "Okay," but she was working with the timing so well. She waited on mid, being like, maybe they push through here, just playing through the other side of the Viper wall. The rest of the team just anchoring to that A side. Her being like, "Okay, I have mid. I don't hear anything. They still have to be there." And the movement was just great and perfect timing.
The pace picked up on the utility in the early round. We've got shock darts, tigers, everything being thrown outside of B. Noia somehow avoiding it all until that snake bite comes in, and that is risky, running on through it. Trying to catch them by surprise, but not finding much for their troubles. With Sonya, the final player left alive, that will be quickly cleaned up to put 6 on the board. Now, that is a predictable enough round, and it's certainly how it goes down. But Oxxgen have got all 5 players left alive and 4 players left alive in the second. Financial benefits not really existent, because if they lose a round, they've lost. But it certainly helps starting to get a foothold on the game in such a dominant manner.
Yeah, and it's also the fact that Ness can go back on the operator and just having that pressure, even finding the first pick would be massive from them. And we see Riggs that they might want to try again to work onto A. It's going to be Jupi just probably faking it a little bit. Let's see if Ness can find that early pick. He's not going to peek that early.
This is really where the pressure starts to mount, though. You know, Oxxgen have 6 in a row to make happen. They want to go to OT, and then they've got to fight for their grand final spot. It looked so good on the first map, but things have started to decay a little bit. Look at that push out of Ritha. Down on the bottom and middle, they were convinced that this was another A crunch coming out of Rix, but they were still held in a little bit of a default. The lurk out of Jupi doing so much work for them.
Yeah, and also look at those cables, gathering all the info. If someone pushes through B, man, it's not going to be really happening. And if it's through elbow, Jupi has the pick. There is that Viper wall, and I like the fact that rainssa is playing in and out, because obviously with both Sky and Sova, your permanence inside of that ultimate is always questioned, and nowhere near too easy. Proxima also using the Seekers. Oh, I thought...
Okay, that's a nice little shot. Vainsa going absolutely ham dealt with on the backside eventually.
30 seconds
Rix
left.
have a 3 versus 3 and a Viper's Pit activated.
Oh, God,
Noia
timing.
on the side angle is so good. It's an execution onto Gia, leaving Ness and Proxima to try and recover. The Seekers used earlier by Proxima to grant those early rotations to the A site, but that means they're not here when they almost need them the most. With Rix having 3 players in any number of positions, this
Yeah.
is going to be just running in blind, looking for some duels that go their way, and it doesn't feel like they will. Padge shut down immediately, maybe. This starts to get a little bit more doable. Noia
time,
still
though.
lurking in middle, can waste so much of this clock, and Raina hasn't even been spotted inside the ultimate. This is going to be it done and dusted, surely. They're halfway. They think the snakebite's pushed them off,
God.
and little do they know the defuse was coming through, but luckily, Raina sprays in at the last second.